I need to always look like a bae, like a snack. Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm starting with no makeup on at all. I really wanted to do like an updated version of my foundation routine. It's been a while since the last time I did one of these. I actually don't even think I've ever filmed one on my channel, and I definitely feel like it's necessary because whenever I do my makeup tutorials, I always briefly touch on my foundation routine, but I never go into detail as to why I use each particular product. So you guys are definitely gonna get that in this video, and you guys are in luck because I'm also going to show you what I put on my skin before foundation. Honestly, your skin's only going to look as good as what's underneath. It's sad to say, but it's the honest to God truth. So if you guys are here for it, if you're excited, don't forget to press that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to click that little bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 times a week, every single week. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my updated foundation routine. And here I am, barefaced and all, nothing's changed, but I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about the skincare products I use before foundation, because to be honest, your foundation is only gonna look good as the skin underneath. I hate to say it a million times, but it's important that you guys really get your skincare down and right. I do encourage everybody to constantly drink water. I'm always drinking water while I'm filming. Hey, so you know, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. I've also been seeing a dermatologist in the new year. I want to say it was like the video before the new year that I uploaded. One of my resolutions was to see a dermatologist. So that's exactly what I did. It is a little bit pricey, but I definitely encourage all of you guys to do that if you are struggling with like over-the-counter products that just aren't working. So this is what my dermatologist prescribed to me. It's probably not going to be the same for you, but he did prescribe me with the clindamycin phosphate topical gel. Right here, I do have a smaller tube, and I use this every single day, morning and night, and it has literally dramatically changed my skin in ways that I can't even describe. Like, I barely get pimples and it makes me so happy. I've also started implementing serums into my routine. I've been kind of interchanging between the Clarins Double Serum and the Prescriptive Superline Preventer Extreme Serum. Now, I like to use this one in the morning right before makeup application. The reason being is because it's extremely lightweight and it doesn't feel heavy underneath foundation. And it also gives me that boost of hydration my skin needs. And I'll apply the Clarins one at night. This really helps with uneven skin texture. They both have amazing anti-aging properties. So if you guys aren't using serums in your skincare regimen, I definitely encourage you guys to do so because it has dramatically changed my skin. I do use other products in conjunction with the ones I just showed. So if you guys want to see an updated skincare routine, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so jumping into the nitty-gritty of my foundation routine. I will always moisturize before putting on my foundation. This is a step that I don't recommend that anyone skip, no matter your skin type. In today's video, I'm going to use my tried and true Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is a moisturizer and primer in one, and honestly, it gets the job done. It's going to prime my skin, and it's also going to hydrate my skin right before foundation. So I will take about 2 pumps of it, and I'm just going to go ahead and work it into my skin. The next thing I like to do is go in with a facial oil. I have been loving the Kevin Kwan Neo Elixir, which is a weightless beauty oil, so it's not going to feel heavy or greasy on the skin. I really love using facial oils. It's something new I have been adding to my foundation routine, and it really gives me that pore plumping, skin brightening effect. Now, if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys is to apply your moisturizer before your facial oil, because if you apply the facial oil and then the moisturizer is just going to sit on top of that facial oil, and it's not going to be able to fully penetrate into the skin, which you don't want. Okay. It's crazy because facial oils are known to be one of the very few products that can fully penetrate face creams and moisturizers into the skin. So it's important that they are applied in this order. And I'm just tapping this on to my cheeks and also my forehead. I'm really trying to just avoid my T-zone because that is an area where I tend to get oily throughout the day. And as you guys can see, I am pushing it into the skin and I'm not like rubbing it. You definitely just want to push it into the skin. Now that I've given that about 5 minutes to fully penetrate into the skin, I'm now going to go ahead and move on to foundation. You guys know I have been loving my Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. It looks amazing. It's bae all day. Honestly, it never disappoints. I will say that if you have oily skin, I definitely would not recommend this foundation because it is a cream to stick formula. So it really is going to accentuate those oils throughout the day. I do have pretty normal skin. I do get oily in my T-zone though, but I find that I can wear a very mattifying foundation or a very glowy foundation with no problem, but this has been my ride or die. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Sand and also Golden. Golden matches me pretty well, but if it is a little bit light, let's just blame me going to the beach, but don't worry, I will end up making things work out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a few stripes to my face, to my forehead, down my nose, and onto my chin. I do personally like to use a damp sponge to apply my foundation. This one is from Morphe. It's kind of like their beauty and contouring sponge. Once I have it completely damp, I will spray it with additional product. This is MAC Fix Plus. The reason that I do this is because MAC Fix Plus has glycerin in it, which is really going to allow products to stick to the skin better. So once I have it damp, I'm just gonna go in and just buff out the foundation. What I love about the foundation is that it looks like skin. As you can see, some of my sunspots are still peeking through. I like to apply a thin layer of this, and then I will go in with additional product where I see I need it most, because I'm a full coverage type of girl. I'm just gonna add a little bit more to really just build up the coverage of the foundation. You also want to make sure that you buff and blend this down the neck. And if you are wearing a choker like me, make sure you blend it underneath the choker as well. So I definitely wanted to bring you guys in just so that way you guys can see how the foundation looks on my skin. It looks extremely luminous. It looks healthy. It looks like skin. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask or anything like that, which is why I really, really love the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. So now that I have my foundation down and in place, I am going to go in with a little bit of concealer. Now, I typically like to use a concealer that's about 1 to 2 shades, sometimes even 3 shades lighter than my foundation, just so that way I can highlight at the same time. So I will be using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I am in the shade Light to Neutral. So what I'll do is I'll apply this directly underneath the eyes. I'll kind of do about 3 little dots, like so, and I'll also take a little bit onto my Cupid's bow, my chin, and also onto my forehead. One of the main reasons I like to highlight the very center of my face is because it's gonna look extremely weird if you have very highlighted eyes and you don't have that balance down the center of the face. So I am going to use my damp sponge by Morphe. I'm also going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus because it just blends out a lot better. And I'm just gonna go ahead and look up and really pounce this directly underneath the eyes. I also like to take it really, really close to my nose right here to kind of, you know, pinch it a little bit more and create the illusion of a narrow nose. And I'll also take it directly on top of my lid to act as an eyeshadow primer. So as you can see, it definitely gives me a little bit more of a subtle highlighted effect. I'm now gonna go in and buff out whatever's on my Cupid's bow, my chin, and my forehead. One thing I will say is you want to be careful how much concealer you are applying, because if you apply a lot of a lighter concealer, it can completely alter the way your foundation looks. You can go from looking tan to light real quick. And trust me, I know, because I've done it way too many times to count. Oh Lord. So moving on, I like to apply a powder directly on top of my concealer to set it in place. I'm gonna go back to my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. Now this has a mixture of highlighting shades and also bronzing shades. As you can see, these 2 shades are very much loved. This powder right here is more of a peach tone concealer, whereas this one is more of a yellow base, kind of like banana. I do like to mix the 2 together. If you do struggle with dark circles, I definitely recommend going in with this peachy tone powder right here, because it is going to cancel out the blues and purples underneath the eyes. Now, as you can see, my under eyes are extremely highlighted at this point. That's just the effect that I like. You can definitely tone it down to your liking, but I definitely prefer more of a brightened under eye. I also like to take a little bit of that powder alongside the sides of my nose. Just like we did with the concealer, I'm going to apply the lighter powder in the center of my face to really just set that concealer down and in place. Following that, I am going to set the rest of my face down with powder. Now, I have re-fallen in love with my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Compact Powder. Now, I know this is hella pricey, but honestly, it creates the most radiant, luminous skin finish, and And it's crazy to think that a powder could do that without adding like shimmers or sparkles or anything like that to the skin. And I really love it because it's not adding an additional layer of coverage to the face. It's really just setting the powder down and in place. Just so that way you guys know, I am in the shade 5.5 in case any of you guys were curious. And you know it's one of my faves when, you know, I've hit pan. So I'm going to take it on a large powder brush by Sigma and press it into the skin. This is a little bit darker than my foundation color, but I find that it really balances out with the rest of my body. As you can see, my shoulder is a little dark, so it all works out in the end. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever tried the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation, but I've noticed from experience when I don't set it down with the powder, boy, let me tell you, it will literally slip and slide everywhere. So it is highly encouraged and recommended that you all are setting down this foundation if you use it. Like, look how beautiful my skin looks. It's like unreal. Unreal. I'm really just making sure that the foundation is nice and set. I'm taking it onto my nose, and I'm also going to take it right here where my under eye is, and I'm going to kind of pat the line so that way you cannot see a stark line from where I highlighted and where I decided to put my face powder. Like, that is not a good look. So that is why I'm really just trying to really blend those areas together. Now that my face is nice and set, I do want to kind of re-intensify the highlight shade underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna go right back into the Shade and Light palette with a brush. This is just a powder brush by e.l.f. And I'm going to sweep it right under here to really just re-highlight this area. And I am using a fluffy kind of powder brush just so that way it's not such a stark, harsh line. We want this to look very seamless and natural under the eyes. Natural. Y'all probably like, this bitch got a whole face of powder on. Ashley, there's nothing natural about that. After setting my entire face, I like to bronze. Now, there is something I've been doing for a minute now that a friend of mine really couldn't wrap her mind around. I do like to go in with the Hoola Light Benefit Bronzer, and I know it's crazy to think that I use Hoola Light. Like, I'm super duper tan right now at least, and the bronzer is super light. Like, I can probably use this as my foundation shade, but what I like to do is I like to go in with a brush like this. This just so happens to be my MAC 135 brush. This brush I absolutely love to use for bronzing up the skin. I will go in with this brush, pick up a little bit of the product, and I will start to bronze the skin. Now, this isn't going to create very deep shadows, but it is going to create a little bit of shadows. So I like to refer to it as the transition color for my bronzer. As you guys know, we have transition colors in the crease of our eyes. I like to create somewhat of a transitional color for my bronzer, just so that way things blend a lot more seamless into my foundation. So as you can see, it is creating a very, very light bronze effect. And that is exactly what I'm going for. Super duper light, because I am going to intensify it with another bronzer in a second. Using my Morphe E27, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of Hoola Light, tap off, and I'm gonna run this on the sides of my nose to really just bring back some definition. Oftentimes I find once I apply concealer and powders and foundations, my definition in my nose tends to get lost in the process. So I like to just re-intensify it with a little bit of Hoola Light. To really warm up the skin, I'm gonna use my NARS Laguna bronzer. Y'all, can we just talk about how I hit pan on this? This is definitely one of my favorite bronzers. It looks extremely natural and beautiful on the skin. I'm gonna go in with that MAC 135 brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of product, and I'm gonna use this to really just intensify my bronzer, like so. And I'm also going to take this on to my temples as well. Since I did apply that transitional bronzer, things are just going to blend a lot nicer into the foundation. And lastly, I will do a little bit of cleanup underneath my bronzer, and I am going to use the Collab Set the Stage Ultrafine Loose Powder. And just so you guys know, this has completely replaced my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. Completely replaced. And it's only $15. So I'm gonna take this on my Morphe sponge. As you can see, it does have more of a flat side, which is perfect for cleaning up directly underneath your bronzer. And what this is gonna do, it's just going to create a very nice line as opposed to having the bronzer like way down here. Because when you have bronzer sitting down here, it tends to make you look a little bit muddy, which isn't what I'm going for. So, fun fact. Another thing I like to do is I like to take the pointy end of my Morphe sponge. I'll kind of tap off what's left on the back of my hand so it's not too much. And I will take this alongside my nose to really just clean up that bronzer we put there. And I'll also take some down the center of my nose to really just highlight that area. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this bake on my face for maybe about 5 minutes or so. Blush and highlighter is always different depending on the makeup look I'm doing, so I'm not really gonna touch that in this video. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face, like my eyes, my blush, and my bronzer, and then I will be right back. And just like that, you guys, I am back. I went ahead and did my eyes off camera, added a little bit of blush and highlight, and this is the look. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Lip color coming soon. I cannot tell you guys what it is yet, but you guys will know very, very soon. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed my updated foundation routine. And if you guys want to see any other routine videos, like my eyebrow routine or anything like that, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure you press that subscribe button. And also don't forget to turn on your post notifications because I upload 2 new videos every single week, Tuesday and Thursday, and you guys don't want to miss out on that. So until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.